Hey, everybody. Stu Smith here, going live again, taking some questions, maybe show some swim videos as well with some critiques. You guys can submit those if you like. Happy to critique them either on here or personally. If you don't want it posted, that's fine as well. Also have a new TikTok, by the way. Check this out. Stu Smith 50, same as my Instagram. Nothing but CSS critiques. Probably do some underwater swim critiques and drown proofing critiques as well. But as of right now, we're just loading it up with a bunch of combat swimmer stroke technique training. Anyway, let me share something with you because people ask me all the time, what is tactical fitness? Obviously military, law enforcement, firefighter, fancy word for that type of fitness training. And I have a Venn diagram that shows it really well. And you can use the same diagram for any type of success in selection, boot camps, training, but you need to be good at all of these. And when you compare the typical athlete with a tactical athlete, and a lot of us were athletes before we made this transition. An athlete just needs to be really good if he wants to make the team, he or she wants to make a team at a certain few elements of fitness, as well as the skills of that sport, obviously. So, for instance, the football player needs to be pretty durable and, strong, powerful, work on strength and power, speed and agility. All of those work really well together. Usually most training programs have them all in a training system. For instance, like preseason football training in the summer, what are you doing? You're working on your speed, working on agility, lifting weights, getting strong, getting bigger. So all of that leads to, better performance later when the season starts. Same thing on the other side of the spectrum, over there on the right-hand side, that work capacity is really everything else. Aerobic, anaerobic conditioning, muscle stamina, otherwise known as strength endurance. So, for instance, your first pull-up would be a strength exercise. Your 20th pull-up would be an endurance exercise. Let me see if you guys got questions here. Oh, and then on the bottom half of that, there's more. I think if you want to endure a hard selection or have a long career in one of these tactical professions, you also need to have some stability and some ability to mitigate stress. And that's physical stress, that's mental stress, it's emotional stress. All of that comes in to play. And that's part of sleep, recovery, nutrition, mobility training, flexibility training. All of that has to be involved into the training programs. And then the other side, when you're talking about stability, you want to be in such good condition that you're able to learn new skills, tactical skills, job skills, maintain those skills, but also have some ability to have some coordination, and a never quit mindset also helps, and just a mindset of doing your job when you need to do your job. So, but anyway, that's when people ask me what is a tactical athlete, I say you need to take a look at this diagram because it really shows you what you need to get good at doing and what you need to do it. And how do you do that? It's hard to get good at everything in a single training program. However, you can do that using a form of what I use, periodization, I tend to call it seasonal tactical fitness periodization. You can search that. I think I put some links to it in the announcement email. That's why we have winter lift cycles to focus on strength and power, speed and agility. And we have calisthenics and cardio cycles to focus on, muscle stamina, endurance, multiple forms of endurance, whether that's timed runs, it's longer timed runs, it's rucking, it's swimming fast without fins, it's swimming steady with fins. All of those are things you need to practice. And unfortunately, what a lot of people do not do in this journey is practice things that they are about to get pummeled by. So for instance, a lot of people go to buds and they just practice the PST so many times. They get really good at practicing the PST, and all they really did was learn how to get to the training. They didn't do anything else. Maybe, hopefully, they have some athletic history that can help them get through the training, whether that is greater endurance in certain activities or it's some strength that will help them not get crushed under the boat. But most people, should be able to crush the PST, but at the same time work on some strength in a way that you can handle probably the most challenging part of training, which is those first 4 weeks of logs and boats and Hell Week. The good news is after Hell Week, you won't ever touch another log or boat, at least like you did in the first 4 weeks. So, it requires some durability. Let's just say the least. Can you build muscle with calisthenics? Absolutely. Calisthenics is probably one of the first, if not the first, ever muscle building activity before there were weights. Push-ups, pull-ups, dips, squats, lunges. Yeah, you can get big with those. You have to do it right, not do crazy amount of reps, but yeah, you can actually get pretty big. And even if you do, and I say crazy amount, I mean hundreds and hundreds of reps, can probably backfire on you. Not doing them every day is another one. You need a day to recover so you actually grow before you do that same muscle group again. Let's see. Another question here. Why do multi-joint dumbbell exercise movements if they don't actually do these in buds? Well, they don't actually do deadlifts and power cleans at buds either. You should have some ability to lift weight off the ground and put it over your head. That's all that skill is. If you think about it, it's picking up a log and taking it over your head. It's picking up a boat and taking it and putting it over your head. You being able to do that is an option. A lot of people aren't comfortable with dumbbells, with barbells, especially if they've never lifted and done deadlifts and hang cleans and power cleans. So those multi-joint dumbbells, taking a set of dumbbells from the ground to your shoulders, over your head, and back down is a very useful tool. And being able to do it multiple repetitions, that builds muscle stamina and some work capacity, but go a little bit heavier, that builds some strength. So there's a lot of things that you can train and not use in your future training, but it helps you with the elements of fitness that you need. You need strength, you need power, you need muscle stamina and cardiovascular endurance. But that's a good question, though. That's fair. Hey, Stu, is it good to do multiple runs per day? I'm doing about 30, 35 miles a week with my 2 track workouts, and rest are longer runs. It's not bad. Sometimes we do it. I'd prefer, personally, for me, I wouldn't run twice a day, but that's just me and my old legs and hips. I would prefer to do a good run in the morning, and then maybe in the afternoon or evening, do a swim or bike just for extra cardio that's non-impact. But if you're trying to get good and you need 30, 35 miles a week to get good at running, the thing is just make sure those runs are useful runs. A 10-minute mile run is just putting in miles. And, all you're going to do is get good at running slow, when you do that. I personally prefer maybe building up a base for a little bit and then really focusing on 6-minute mile runs for timed run events for like 1.5 2 mile, 3 mile type runs. And then somewhere in the 7-minute range for longer runs for 5 mile timed runs that you will see in other selection programs. Every week at Buds, you have a 4 mile timed run, 5 mile run just to get into Ranger School. So there are reasons why you would run that far, but for the most part, you want to make sure you run with some purpose. Let's see. How many PT sessions a candidate have to do per day and per week in Buds? That's a good question. It varies. You won't do more than one PT session in a day, but you'll do multiple things. You may run around with the boats, you may paddle, you may go to the pool and do some drown proofing or underwater swimming. Just depends on what phase you are in. But you're always going to be dropped for push-ups, constantly through the day. You'll run from event to event, so you build up some miles just going to and from to eat and to the pool and things like that. So it adds up. It adds up a lot. So you need to be ready. Been incorporating your past workouts into my training. Thanks for all your information. Excited to see how my scores will improve. Yeah, good luck. Let us know how they go. And if you have questions, send them. John says, I've been using MJDB every day, lifting heavy pieces over my head during construction. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what you do. Pick stuff up from the ground and put it over your head. That's all that skill is. And it's a skill that if you're in construction, you definitely need to do. If you're going to be going through the tactical professions and moving equipment, definitely need to do. So it's more of an equipment movement and training your body to move with multiple joints to get things up and not hurt yourself. Which martial art do you think is most effective? Oof. That's a tough question. I tend to stay in my lane. I don't really go into the martial arts world. I do like jujitsu. I like wrestling. I like boxing. Kind of done them all throughout my life in some way. More wrestling and boxing than jujitsu. Jujitsu was kind of later in life. I don't really do a lot of it now. My training is really a lot of training. I don't really have time to do it. But I do like to wrestle. Some people are different. I'd rather grapple than kick and punch. So the jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling was always a better option for me. What do I think is most effective? I don't know. The one that you master is the most effective. I've seen guys 7th degree black belts in Taekwondo, which I would think, yeah, their feet aren't that dangerous. And then I see him move, and I was like, whew, okay, I don't want to get anywhere near where his feet can hit me. So just get good at something, and it will be effective. Are run intervals a good tool used to drop your run time? Yes, absolutely. Now, what kind of intervals are you doing? So it's nothing wrong with sprinting and jogging, and not really monitoring your pace. But I typically do it a different method. I like to know the pace that my goal time requires. So, for instance, if I'm trying to run a 6-minute mile or a 9-minute mile and a half, same pace, I'm going to run my quarter mile intervals at 90 seconds. And you'll say, oh man, that was easy, your first couple, right? But then it starts getting harder, especially if you rest very little in between. So, I do both. There'll be a sprint day, there'll be a hill day, there'll be a couple of goal paced interval days. There'll be a beach run day. So I mix it all in there and try to get multiple methods going. But yes, intervals are a really good way to do it. How much sleep do you get at Buds? It depends on the phase. Was talking to some guys in first phase a few classes ago, and they said that their first 3 weeks they averaged about 2 hours a night because they just had so much other stuff to do. So, and then they had Hell Week, which is really zero sleep. So but the good news is you get weekends off. You will be busy. The days are long. Now you're not doing a whole lot during the 22 hours that you're awake. You're preparing to go do stuff. So that means you got to get boats ready, you got to get your uniforms ready, got to get your gear ready. All of that's going to be inspected. You might have room inspections in the morning, so you got to make sure that's all perfectly clean. There's just a bunch of little things that you have to do that interfere with your sleep. So it's not all constant movement. Let's see. I incorporate jump rope into my training. Good job. So if jump rope can help me increase the size of my calves. Yeah, any little jumping, like that when you're on your tippy toes, jump, jump, jump. Yeah, absolutely. That will definitely, if not increase the size of your calves, help you with some definition in your calves as well. Any explosive work like that, heel raises will help you build your calves. Let me see if I missed some of these. Not sure if I think I got all the questions. Hey, you guys ready for me to share a screen on some videos here? Let me pull up one of the videos I was going to show. Can't remember which one it was now. All right, I'll just show this one. All right, hang on. Let me share my screen. You guys let me know if you can see this. Sometimes I start talking before it's actually shared. Okay, looks like you guys can see it. All right, so let's back this up a little bit. So this guy's going to kick off the wall. Not bad. Little dolphin kick. All right, see that right there? All of that skin just on the surface area just lost a lot of momentum. Right? A submarine travels faster underwater than it does on top of water. Remember that. All this surface tension right here is like swimming with the brakes on. So go a little deeper. And when you're transitioning out of the pull out into the stroke, you don't want to be on top of the water. Slightly underwater will get you there. And it's much smoother and you don't lose any momentum. This guy will almost stop when he transitions, I bet. All right. Let's see here. Looks like it's got a weird kick that we need to fix. Oh, he's got a pair of little fins on. What's going on there? Let's see this again. So, yeah, see how whenever you kick, you don't want to be splashing the guy filming you, all right? Because when you do that, you're just making power vectors go this way. So you're actually, when you kick this direction right here, you're pushing your body in this direction. You want to be pushing your body in this direction, right? See this little arrow right here? That's the direction you're trying to swim. This is not a power kick in the right direction. You got to push water with the bottom of the front leg to go this way. So you go that way, right? You're basically going to just be swimming sideways. If you weren't in a lane with lane lines, you'd just be swimming, if you were in open water, you'd just be swimming to the right because you're kicking to the right. All your power's going that way. All right. So top arm, bottom arm, kick. Not bad. You got the sequence down, which is always good. See how you kind of, it's not too bad. You still got your face in the water when you're breathing. I'll give you that one. Just looks a little awkward because of the way your neck is bent. Work on your turnaround. Oh, never mind. Your video is done at 25. One more time. See what's going on. So remember, see this right here? Yeah, don't broach whenever you are transitioning into the stroke. You want to try to be underwater as much as you can, especially during the glide phase right here, which isn't bad. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. So you want to do this. Here's the sequence of the stroke. Pull, breathe, kick, and hold. There you go. Not too bad. All right, so let's do another one real quick. See if I got any questions here. Mentioned, okay, here's one that's a little bit about some of the buds changes or SEAL changes. SEAL community changes, they are making changes here soon. And it's mainly how they become platoon commanders. So back in the day, if you were going through the junior officer, you're an ensign, then you were assistant platoon commander. If you were lucky, you were assistant platoon commander twice for 2 deployments, and then you were able to be a platoon commander on your third. The way these are going to break out is now, if you're not a good assistant platoon commander, you won't ever be a platoon commander, right? Believe it or not, they would give people chances to do that. Now they're going to almost like select them for platoon commander. They're going to select them for executive officer. Not sure how that's going to work. I'm not privy to, the selection process, but just know that the way that the community's going is they're going to be a little more selective with who they make platoon commanders, platoon chiefs, platoon LPOs. All of those things are very important, and they're just going to make it so where there's a standard process for that, not unlike the way they do it at SEAL Team 6 and those selection programs there. So good question. Stand by. It's probably going to take a year or so before that actually starts coming into place, but it will probably be moving pretty soon. Let me do another one, and then I'll let me pull one up here first. Make sure this is what I was doing. Nope, this is the same dude. There's one I really wanted to show you guys that was pretty good. All right, so we'll do this one. All right, so, all right, you guys see that? Good to go. All right, so we got a good kick off the wall. I may have shown this one a couple times before now that I think about it. I definitely put it on my TikTok. See all those dolphin kicks? Don't do that. Waste of time. See that? Stop. Just stop doing it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I showed this one recently, but I'll do it again. All right, top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. And you see there's really no glide position here. See that? There just goes right into the stroke. And even whenever you try to hold the glide, you're not really, your hands aren't even together. It looks like one hand's pretty far under the other. And something else that's really makes your kick weak, and here's why I wanted to show this, is that this is a really common error, is something that makes your kick really weak. Long turnarounds make your time slow too. Is if you are kicking and rolling over to your belly in the middle of your kick, you're going to cause what's called the scissor kick into the breaststroke kick thing, and it really makes your kick weak. So if you notice, he scissor kicks and then he rolls over on his belly. Nothing wrong with that, but if you do it, don't do it in the middle of your kick. Roll over to your belly during the glide, because you actually, if you're doing the glide right, you're going to have 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. You're going to have almost 3 seconds to hold the glide. He just obviously isn't doing that, and it's just kind of a weaker kick. You can kind of see it turns and starts. It's a scissor kick that kind of turns into a breaststroke kick at the end. So, yeah, that just makes your kick weak. All right, so try not to do that. Remember, kick on your side, roll over on your belly is optional. I don't even roll over fully on my belly now. I just kind of go about 45-degree angle, right? And just that, what that does is instead of me staying on the side and my shoulder going through the surface of the water, just puts me just slightly under the water whenever I'm gliding, a nice 45-degree angle. And then I can grab water with that top arm, kick, boom, kick on my side, hold the glide, roll over just a little bit while I'm gliding to grab that next pull of water. All right, let's see. Currently getting after it with your local workouts. If you had to choose 3 big lifts per day to increase strength and supplement to weekly workouts you provide, what would you choose? Here's how I would do that, right? So today, for instance, was hills, run, squats, and lunges. It was our leg day. It was our calisthenics and cardio leg day. Today's a great day to top that off with swimming with fins, and maybe before or after that swim, you go in and get maybe 3 sets of deadlifts and squats. Just top off your legs with a really quick lift, just kind of maintain some strength, maybe even build some strength too. But you don't want to do that every leg day. I would say maybe once a week just for maintenance, because right now our phase that we're in is calisthenics and cardio. We are adding strength weeks to this during the cycle. Like we're doing a 3-to-1 block periodization. So we do 3 weeks of calisthenics and cardio, then we do 1 week of strength training. So that's one way to do it. And you just don't even have to worry about your supplemental workouts. But if you like to add some workouts in, as long as it doesn't interfere with your goals of running faster. So one thing I've experienced many, many times, not only personally, but with people training, is that if you're trying to get faster in timed runs, heavy deadlifts and heavy squats don't work very well to do that. And what I mean by that is timed runs of 1.5 miles to 3 miles in distance requires a really good pace. Heavy deadlifts, now you can go light if you want, just to work on some technique, but heavy deadlifts, what will happen is if you're trying to go heavier, you'll find that with all the calisthenics and running that you're doing and swimming with fins, your lifts aren't going to be as good. And with all the lifting, your runs aren't going to be as fast. So it's just 2 things that I tend to separate in different cycles because they kind of counteract each other. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. So it's a method. It's called seasonal tactical fitness periodization. And you will see I have winter lift cycles. I have spring and summer calisthenics and cardio cycles. And yes, there are some weights in there. And if you're going to do it smart. On days that we do legs, mix in some leg work. Doesn't have to be super crazy heavy. Just mix in some leg work to just maintain what you got. If it's an upper body day, that's when you can mix in some bench. There's some heavy pull downs and rows, things like that. Nothing wrong with adding hang cleans and power cleans in there as well. Multi-joint dumbbells are also a good option. Just picking up weight and putting it over your head and maintaining that ability. All right. But if you're coming from a strength background already and you need to get good at endurance and muscle stamina, That's when I just say, look, get out of the weight room and put your butt on a bike, swim, run, and calisthenics, because you need to turn into a PT animal and cardio animal. That was my story. My story worked like this. I was a powerlifting football player that did really well with lifting. Was a pretty decent football player. Not good enough to play, college ball. But that was my background. Anything over 100 meters was long distance to me, and I had to transition out of that into just to be regular military to run timed runs better. And then that journey went into, going into a spec ops pipeline training. And I really had to focus on higher rep calisthenics and more calisthenics and cardio. And I just didn't have time to lift. So I didn't lift for probably a year, but I got in really good cardiovascular shape, trimmed up a little bit. Could actually, went from a bulky 215 to a lean 190, 195 and much faster. And there you go. That was my Bud's weight, 6 feet, 195. And that is my journey today, is to be at my Bud's weight, even as I age into my 50s. And I'm there. I'm like 200, 6 feet, 200. Could be a little leaner, but working on that too. So, yeah. Good question. Just depends on your athletic history if you really need to add those extra weights or not. Neutral grip pull-ups carry over to overhand pull-ups. I don't know. I like doing multiple types of pull-ups, whether it's this way, this way, this way, wide grip, close grip, alternating grip. I do probably about 6 different grips when I do pull-ups. It's a nice variety. Let's see. I guess that's it. How much did that one already? All right. Send a question if you got them. I'm going to try to find another video to share. Let me get out of here. This is a good one. Let's try this one. All right. Share video. All right. What do we have here? Do have a really good kickoff here off the wall. Check how powerful this is. And the reason why he goes so far is he's streamlined. Not necessarily super powerful in the legs. That helps. But as long as you're streamlined, you're going to build up some serious momentum using these walls. And I highly recommend it for the 500-yard swim. Kick off the wall, stay streamlined. He throws the dolphin kick or two in there. Oh, he did 2 double arm pulls, though. I don't recommend that. Not needed. Plus, you probably won't be able to maintain kicking off the wall and doing this. Oh, I remember what I did here. This is not how you do it. So see that top arm coming out? That is an overwater recovery stroke, and it's not legal. You would be kicked out of the pool for that one and fail the combat swimmer stroke 500-yard swim for the Navy because of that overarm recovery. It's fast, but not really maintainable. The way you would have to do that is just make sure you get that arm here. Instead of going out of the water like that, it just has to be underwater. And then hold the glide. Don't go right into the stroke. Like you don't even have a glide here. Those extra dolphin kicks probably aren't helping you that much, especially since you're not gliding. You're just wasting a lot of energy and losing a lot of the momentum. Or I shouldn't say, you're not using the momentum that you're creating because you skipped the glide. Doesn't have to be this hard. You're just making swimming harder. It's kind of like wrestling the water, just nonstop. Got to glide more. Hope that makes sense to you guys. Let's see. Got a few new comments. I'll take a few more, and then I got to bail. I got something coming up. 10. What's a good time for speed pyramid? Good question. I like to do this one. Make sure your form stays good, but I try to do these 19 sets. So 1, 10, back down to 1. That's 19 sets. Pull-ups times 1, push-ups times 2 in 20 minutes. Now, you'll see your first 7 minutes you probably get, or your first 7 sets you probably get done in like 3 minutes because, sets 1, 2, 3 are really easy. And, so those move pretty quick. 7, 8, 9, 10 get a little slower. 9, 8, 7, 6, a little slower. But if you can keep them on an average of about a minute per set, that's really good. Now, obviously, your first 3 sets will probably be a minute if you're moving fast. But on average, so 19 sets, 19 minutes. I've seen a few guys get 17 minutes before. I try to hit mine with a 20-minute limit. So those are fun workouts. I like those little speed workouts. Great for muscle stamina building. I can't seem to do an effective side kick on my right side, but can do the breaststroke kick. Cool thing about the breaststroke kick is that you don't need to change your kick when you change your sides to breathe. That's a plus, especially if you're good at breaststroke kick. If you're not good at breaststroke kick, it's typically a waste of energy. Most non-swimming athletes, land athletes that actually run, have built up these muscles really well in their hips that go forward and backwards, right? They haven't really built up these muscles to do a breaststroke kick, unless they swam, competitively when they were younger. So it's up to you. I would say if you have a hard time doing the, top leg forward on your right side, just remember that whenever you do a scissor kick, the goal of changing sides is to change your kick. So your top leg has to go forward in order to change your kick on either side. Now, another option, if you have a good scissor kick on your left side, is just have your top leg go backwards, and you're basically using the same kick to do that. I don't usually recommend that just because, it's only a 500-yard swim, so it's not that big a deal. But if you were swimming longer, it would be a big deal, especially with fins. My suggestion is practice the scissor kick with a pair of fins and a kickboard on your strong and weak side, and it will improve. It takes time, but in the short run, I don't have a problem with people doing breaststroke kick on their weak side if that feels better. And it's faster. That's the biggest thing, is it faster. All right. Anybody got anything else? Any more questions? So don't forget, I've been posting a lot of swim critique videos all in one shot over at TikTok. So Stu Smith 50 TikTok is nothing but me critiquing people swimming. And it's pretty good. I like the platform for that purpose. Also, if you guys check out StuSmithFitness.com, compete 20, save 20%. Thanks for sticking around, listening. If there are any more questions, I will take this last one. Achilles. Any of you guys ever had Achilles tendonitis? Yes, it happens often. Haven't been able to use fins for CSS for a while. Yeah, you know what? It happens a lot with running hills, sometimes running sand, explosive box jumps. My suggestion is you're going to probably have to let it rest and really avoid stretching it, because probably what happened was you stretched it doing something explosive, whether it was an explosive run up a hill, or even just catching yourself and hyper stretching it real quick, probably cause some damage. That typically is what happens. So avoid stretching it and just let it heal. Um, and then slowly start to introduce things that you haven't been doing. See if you can run. Just run straight. No sprinting. Sprinting is bad. Running up hills is bad. Jumping, anything explosive is bad. I'm not sure about swimming with fins. Evidently, if that's hurting you, I would avoid that as well. Maybe try, if you want to go swimming, maybe do more arm pulls and freestyle. Just let your feet drag back there. See how that feels. Last thing, any advice learning CSS with no instructors? YMCA prohibits making videos. Then my suggestion is just watch videos, because you can go over to TikTok and watch a whole bunch of them. And I got a whole bunch of them on Instagram and YouTube. Just a ton of them. Watch them, practice them, find a pool that lets you do a CSS, and I will, or a video, and I will help you out if you need it. Let's see. All right, absolute last one. Thanks for asking these questions, by the way. What do you think taking Army, JROTC, one class in high school on your senior year of you going for buds? I don't care. I think, if you want to do that, do it. I don't think it's going to make a difference, good or bad. But if it's something you want to do and learn some military bearing while in high school, go for it. I think those things are good to go. Here's my thing, though, is don't be in a hurry to join and go to buds at 18. Most teenagers don't make it, right? Make sure you're crushing the PST before you even talk to a recruiter. That's right. Don't even talk to a recruiter until you can crush the PST. Too many people do this, and then they spend the delayed entry program failing PSTs. Next thing you know, all they've done is practice getting to buds. They've never did any work to get through buds. Give yourself a year or two just to grow. Most 18-year-old kids aren't even finished growing yet. It's not a kid's game you're trying to do. It's a man's game, right? See some of those pictures of guys post Hell Week. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, there you go. That's my last piece of advice. But check out an article I wrote. In fact, I will put it in here right now. Four things, 4 steps to get prepared for special ops profession. All right, so I'm going to post this right here. And Mike, you need to read this, because this is really important for people who think they are going to join when they are 18. All right. All right, folks. I will see you later. Have a good day. And you got some videos, send them. I'll critique them for you. Have a good one.